Good afternoon and welcome to St Petersburg, Russia's second biggest city, and actually the city that we started this YouTube journey on 4 and a bit years ago. Less said about those videos the better. But in this video we're actually leaving St Petersburg. We've been here for a few days with Julia's brother, seeing his new life here in the northern capital of Russia. But we're heading from here on the Baltic coast all the way down to one of the most southern cities in Russia, to the warm Black Sea coast. It's going to be quite a long overland journey, so we thought that on the way we would answer a few questions from both Instagram and YouTube, because we've had a lot of new people on the channel recently. So we thought, what better time than now to answer some questions about ourselves, who we are, travel, and our plans for this channel in the future. So on that note, let's head south.
As we're making our way to the station, let's answer our first question. Why did you move out of Turkey? Well, a few months back we had a situation where we had a black mold infestation all over the pub. So it was impossible to actually live there. That's why we had to move out. And because of the inflation situation, the prices went up too much, so we couldn't afford to rent anywhere else in Istanbul. Which is a shame because we really enjoyed our time there, but that's basically a short answer to why we moved out from Turkey.
Приятно было познакомиться с тобой, приятно время провести вместе. Пожалуйста.
Вроде 89 и 91 место. Хорошо. Welcome home. Let's settle in and then we'll get to the rest of the questions. Okay, welcome aboard the 805 from St Petersburg all the way down to Sochi. We're going to be on this train for the next day and a half, so we've got plenty of time to go through the questions, and I've lined you up a pretty juicy one to start off. Before we get going, let's go in with the big guns. If you could combine one country's food with one country's language and one country's city together, what would they be?
Food-wise, it's probably the most difficult one. But if I had to choose, I would say English food. Should no one know what?
Beans on toast? Or is it the sausage rolls that get you?
Welsh language. And
big one, I like
cities. I would have to say Crawley.
Crawley? Yeah, I mean, a big answer for a big question.
You know what I was going to say? Big answer for a big girl.
Big answer for a big girl. No. You'd knock me out.
But on a serious note,
yeah.
I'll have to think of that one.
You mean Crawley wasn't serious? It's a shame, because it's one of
You're not questioning English food though.
No.
The less questionable out of all of it is Welsh.
I love beans on toast.
I mean, they're alright, Matt. They're alright. They're just alright.
Try it. If you haven't, you're in for a treat. Make sure butter on the toast though. Without butter on the toast, I'll give you a serious answer.
Oh,
yeah.
You have one?
Yeah.
Good
So, one country's food. I'm gonna have to go for Thai food. I was between Thai and Indian, but I think I'll say Thai food. One country's language. I mean, I love speaking Russian, so I'm going to say Russian. And one country's city. I love loads of cities around the world, but my favourite city is probably still London, to be honest. The centre of London. Like, obviously, as soon as you maybe leave the square mile or whatever it's called, the city of London, it's a bit different. But I love Westminster. I love, like, the West End. So, yeah, probably that. Probably London. London, Thai food, Russian language.
How posh.
How posh, I know. Yeah.
London is your favourite city of everywhere.
The centre. Yeah, the centre. I just thought I'd specify. I mean, look, I love Croydon for obvious reasons, but I can't say it's where I'd want to spend a Sunday afternoon.
Что-то нам приготовила. We have a little present here. Sleepers, toothbrush, and shoehorn.
You're not really going to use the shoehorn for the slippers, are you?
They say they're taking care of you
They are.
when you need to take your sleepers off and put your shoes on.
That's a message. Put your shoes on. Fuck off.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут Екатерина. Сегодня я буду вашим проводником. Предъявите, пожалуйста, документы для повторной проверки.
Конечно.
Все, спасибо. Если у вас будут возникать какие-либо вопросы в пути исследования, вы можете всегда обратиться ко мне, нажав кнопку вызова проводника.
Хорошо,
Спасибо.
Хорошей дороги.
Спасибо большое. До свидания.
До свидания. Sochi.
Вот это сосалки.
We have made it to the city of Voronezh, proper heartland country now. We made a lot of progress overnight actually, and on that note, we haven't made a lot of progress with the questions. So we're going for a quick fire round, see if we can break the back of it. And question 1, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
My question is, are you two always agree picking the places to go? Yeah. Majority of the time one of us has a suggestion and we discuss it, see if it's possible, if we can work it out, and then yeah, I would say we always agree with each other, the places to go.
Yeah, I'd say we're both really, really inquisitive, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't take a lot of convincing for the other person. Okay, where is your home base now? Or don't you have one since you left Turkey? We do. We have, at the moment, a base in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, and we've been there for a few months now.
Has there ever been a place you travelled where expectations were high and things didn't go smoothly? Yes, I would say it's the same answer for both of us, and it's Mexico. I think it's not just about the place. Majority of the time it's about you and how you feel, and let's just say it was a very difficult time when we landed there and it affected everything really, so I wouldn't say we had a good time, both of us. And in contrast to that, place with very low expectations that genuinely impressed you: Albania and Macedonia, or North Macedonia, whatever you decide to call it.
Yeah, and for me, I'd agree. Mexico, for more personal reasons than anything, and then secondly, the place, the low expectations that really blew it out of the park was Lebanon for me. Lebanon was incredible. The food was amazing. We knew about the history and how beautiful it was going to be. I think we just read a few things prior to going and we were a little bit nervous when we got there, with the trip to Syria ahead of us as well, but it was incredible. Okay, the most frustrating thing you forgot to bring on a trip.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. Good vibes. We said this before quite recently, that you can basically buy anything these days wherever you are in the world, but good vibes are the one thing that if you forget them, you're stuffed.
Yeah, but that's the thing, everything's just gonna start closing in, and you have to have your passport, visa if you need a visa to enter anything, and some money. But anything else, we don't have any medicine we need to take or anything like that, so yeah, passport, visa, and money. And good vibes.
Yeah, and obviously because we're filming, right, if you don't have good vibes, then it's really hard to make a good video. Content is really dependent on you kind of wanting to get out there and really wanting to speak to people and really wanting to interact and film the best as possible. So good vibes.
Have you ever considered moving to Russia?
Yes. We have.
Only about 100 times.
Yeah, we have. Again, we've been together 11 years, right? So there's been many occasions when we thought about it.
12 years.
We've been together 12 years. So there's many times that we thought about it. 12 years. 12 years. Time flies when you're having fun.
I wouldn't say so. Have you ever got food poisoning on your travels? Okay, well, you did say ask anything. We did have a few situations like that. A couple of times we got, upset stomachs, but bad food poisoning was actually recently. Matt got really bad food poisoning in China. It was honestly...
I was out for about a week. Literally a week of... Yeah, we were in Xi'an. And it was literally an entire week just gone. I couldn't leave the room. It was bad. It was bad. How do you pass the time on long journeys when the cameras are off? I know you've mentioned you enjoy reading. Is there anything else, and any favourite books you've read whilst travelling? Yeah, so mainly we like, to be honest, now we listen to audiobooks more than anything, because you can just whack your headphones in, lay down and forget about everything going on around you. Also podcasts. In terms of books we're reading at the moment, I'm currently listening to one called A Stranger in Your Own City, which is about travelling through Iraq and like different periods of time in Iraq. Yeah, really, really interesting. And best book, Prisoners of Geography by Tim Marshall. It's my favourite book of all time. I've read it like 3 times.
As Matt mentioned, we read a lot and listen to a lot. We also work sometimes on the road when it's possible, like editing and answering emails, chatting to family. And I really enjoy staring out of the window. That's why I think I love travelling on trains so much. It's so beautiful, so atmospheric.
I don't think we're too good at quickfire rounds. We've got too much to say. We waffle too much. But on that note, we're going to take a break and grab some lunch, which is obviously going to be doshirak. How can you not have doshirak on a Russian train?
Oh, you had an egg in already.
Of course I did. It's the international sign of sophistication, an egg in your doshirak. To be fair, mayonnaise makes it an even higher level, but we forgot it.
I didn't purposely bet it. We didn't forget it, okay?
Ah.
Alright?
One thing that's really noticeable travelling through European Russia compared to on a train in Siberia, where we usually travel, is how many towns and villages there are in this part of the country. In Siberia, especially, I remember last year in the Far East, you can go hours without seeing a house, just untouched nature apart from the train track running through it. But here in European Russia, it's obviously not Western Europe, it's still very spread out, but there's a lot of villages and towns along the way that you see, and you always see signs of civilization. It's interesting how much of the population live in the European side of this country and how little live over in the Far East and in Siberia. How many countries in total have you guys travelled to, and which one of these countries did you have the best experience visiting? Okay, I'll answer this question in reverse. In terms of a best experience, I can't say I could pick one. Off the top of my head, the one that really stands out is the cargo ship that we took from Azerbaijan across the Caspian Sea to Kazakhstan, because it was just, the whole thing was an adventure, trying to find how to get tickets, getting the tickets, waiting a week for the boat to leave, and then just the actual journey itself was pretty magical. The sunset was just incredible. And then the second part of that question is, how many countries have you visited in total? Look, I think we've visited about 65, 70 countries, something like that, together. To me, this whole system of country counting is a little bit flawed. I don't really get it, because, for example, you could go to the Vatican City and that counts the same as visiting Russia, the world's biggest country, or the USA or China, these massive countries. China's one country and the Vatican City is one country. But in effect, you could also never leave China and you could continue traveling for your entire life. You know, this idea that the only way to judge sort of how well people have travelled or how much you love travel is by how many countries you've been to is, it's a kind of little bit of a flawed system, and something I kind of find hard to get my head around. We've travelled to around 70 countries, but again, we've been back to Russia. I've been here probably on 20 occasions now, and we spent months and months on end here. We've been to Turkey on umpteen occasions, I can't tell you how many. And you could probably never leave your country, whatever country you're watching from, and still be incredibly well travelled. There's so many places in the UK that I haven't been that we still really want to go to. There's so many places here in Russia that we still want to go to. So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer to that. Just something that I often find hard to get my head around. There's a lot of obsession about country counting in general, you know.
Who brought up the idea of traveling full-time and YouTubing it? Also, what, if any, were your dream occupations as youths? You both are living my dream. Happy travels and be safe. Thank you. Matt was the one who brought up the idea of traveling full-time. Our main goal, the main idea was to travel. That's what we really wanted to do. We were thinking of lots of different ways of how we could make it work and how actually to make money traveling full-time, but I would say I was the one who wanted to try YouTube for many reasons. Really wanted to create our own community, really wanted to share the places that we were passionate about and to share it from our perspective in the way we see them. And we thought to try that first, and if that didn't work out, we would find a different way to earn money but still travel full-time. Can you talk a bit about Julia's journey of moving to UK? Was it easy or were there challenges? I had a lot of people asking me actually about that. I moved to the UK 11 years ago now, when I was 18. And it was very challenging. It was not an easy process. We had to provide a massive pile of documents initially. I had to prove that my level of English is sufficient enough, that we had to prove that we're in a relationship. I had to do a tuberculosis test. We had to prove that Matt is earning enough money for me to come over there. And there is a lot on top of it. And we had to do it 3 times. So I got my first visa, then the second, third, and then after my third visa I could apply for citizenship and then go, I think there was an English language test, and then before we were joking so much that actually since I've moved to the UK the level of my English went down. And then I had to pass life in the UK test as well, and overall I think the whole process cost us about £15,000, maybe more, something around that number. So I think it's quite costly for a visa, and the process was not easy again. And the whole process as well, that is the kind of the logical side of it, and the emotional side of it as well wasn't easy because I haven't been to UK prior to moving there. Sometimes I think how on earth I did that, but I always had the mentality that if it didn't work out I can always come back. It was difficult in the way that although there are more similarities between Russians and Brits really than people perhaps realize, sense of humor is very similar, which I'm really happy about. I was 18 when I moved over, so I just finished school and I didn't really know what to do, so Matt's mom advised me to go and become a hairstylist. So that's what I did, and I studied for 3 years and worked in a local salon. It was the best and the worst decision, I would say. It helped me integrate quicker because I was surrounded by so many different personalities and so many strong characters, and it helped me to come out my shell. But at the same time it was difficult because I was always different. I wasn't just Russian, I was also married, and I was 18 and it wasn't a thing, you know. So in that sense it was definitely challenging, and I would say throughout my whole time in the UK, making friends has been the hardest thing, that's for sure. To find people interested in the same kind of things that I was, on the same wavelength, that was, I'd say, the most challenging thing. No matter like what job I did or where I was, I kind of always felt like an outsider.
So for this part of the video, I'm going to collate a lot of the questions together into one overall answer, and you'll see why in a minute. The questions are, we've had a lot of these. How is the border crossing into Russia at the moment as an English person? Can a US citizen currently travel to Russia? How do you find rental apartments in Russia and other countries? Visa tips for Russia, SIM card tips for Russia, which has become a lot more complicated. And the questions are never ending. Cards, how does money work? And on that note, I'm currently writing up a big document with all of our top tips and things that we've learned about traveling to Russia at the moment, ranging from border crossings and what to expect, which particular border crossings we would advise and advise against from the times that we've traveled to Russia over the past few years, how cards work, how to sort out SIM cards, and also how we book apartments and hotels, because that's completely changed. Everything's very different now in 2025. So if you'd like to find out more in-depth information about how things work in general here in Russia right now, and how that can help you if you're planning to travel here or just learn a bit more about the country, then head to the link in the top comment and you can sign up for our email list. And on there we will send out a notification as soon as this document is done, and I'm sure it will answer all of your questions on how things work here in Russia in 2025. Well, it's quite a bit later now, a lot later. It's 8 in the evening, and as we wind down for the evening, there's two questions that kind of roll into one another. So I'll answer maybe the first part, and then I'll spin it around to you and you answer the next, yeah? What's the duration of your travel, and do you take breaks in between trips? So there's something for the first 3 years of doing this. We didn't. We just traveled full-time, non-stop, always on the road. And then we decided we need to kind of balance it a little bit. So now what we try and do is stay in our base for around a month and then travel for around a month and a half, 2 months. So at the moment we're about a month and a half into that 2-month travel, and we'll be going back to where our base is in Bishkek, as we mentioned, pretty soon, to then kind of work for a month and like get straight on diet again, because the constant travel is obviously hard for your diet, and like the constant changing in times as well is hard for your sleep pattern. So it's nice to have a reset and just kind of get into a routine and then head off again. And then the second part of that question is, do you miss home and a stationary life, or was this decision the best decision ever?
I think this was the right decision for us, especially at the time, and we are very happy and I guess proud of ourselves that we made the jump. But it's about making it work for us, because there is not a guide on how to do it, or different set of ways to tell you the options of how you can do it. It's all about trying it out and making it work for yourself. I think we do miss to have our own place. Ideally, of course, we would love to buy somewhere, but unfortunately it's not something we can afford. Eventually, hopefully we'll be able to do that and travel from there rather than changing base all the time, having our own base and travel from there. So yeah, in a way it is the best decision, but we do miss home. It's just about finding that balance and the right combination. I didn't sleep very well last night. In fact, I didn't sleep at all. So I think it's bedtime. So we're gonna catch you in the morning, and hopefully we'll be almost in Sochi. Night night.
Как давно не виделись, а?
Вообще не могу. Нам надо через вокзал, я там возле моря остановилась.
Пойдем. Ну. Так, я все забила, весь багажник, конечно.
А, совсем наоборот.
Никита? Юля?
Вера, Юля?
Да.
Спасибо.
Пойдем?
Mom has a dog now. Well, a dog.
Господи, какой же ты высокий, а? on wheels. Well, welcome to the sunshine city of Sochi. Look, when we got here, actually, it was really good weather, but it's a couple of days later now, and yeah, the rain just doesn't stop. On the forecast, it's showing the next few days non-stop of rain. Crazy. Right on time. Thanks. Okay, we're building up to the last few questions of this video, and on that note, really quickly, we had one about our tours and how you can join. It's really easy. Go to humankindexpeditions.com and check out both the tours that we have available for this year, which is China and Uzbekistan. Actually, spaces are limited and we've only got a couple left on each, so it's going to get full very soon. So if you are interested, check them out and then write to us at mattandjulia@humankindexpeditions.com. Why did we make such a long email address?
I keep thinking about it every time I type it.
Also, on that note, we are continuously looking at what new tours we can do. So if there is anywhere you'd like to go, then email that same email address, I'm not going to list it again, and let us know where you'd like to go next year, and maybe we can start researching a route for that, and yeah, planning some more awesome tours for 2025, 2026.
The next question we actually got a lot, and it's about what's next. What is the grand plan? Well, I think it's one of the most complicated questions we had because it's a tough one. Over the last, I think, probably 2 years, we've been trying so many different things and learning a lot, mainly failing, however, thankfully learning a lot from that. And the plan is to implement everything we've learned over these last few years and put it into action. And actually we've discovered what works for us, what we're good at, what we're bad at, what we need to work on more, and what we enjoy sharing the most, and the reason why we're doing this, really. Hello, I'm just finishing editing this video and I wanted to add a little something. Over the last few years since we started doing this, Matt grew more and more comfortable being in his own skin, and for me it went completely the opposite, especially over the last 3 years. And I think going through everything, particularly last year, it taught me a lot. It taught me to prioritize and value important things that are genuinely important in life. And what is the most important thing in life is human connection. And this is what we enjoy sharing the most, is connecting to people in every place we go to. This what makes travel beautiful, is actually seeing what real people are like and having real adventures. So the next few years are going to be incredibly exciting. We're going to be popping up at lots of random different places that we're really interested about in sharing and learning more ourselves. But mainly we're going to be sharing content from here in Russia and post-Soviet countries. So if that's something you would like to see more of, make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Okay, this is the third time we've done a Q&A video on this channel now, and every time we know that we're absolutely guaranteed one question, which is about kids. It's something we have answered before, but we had quite a few comments again, so we'll answer as best as we can this time. We don't really know is the answer. Sometimes we think it would be really good, really nice. Other times we're really not sure. I think we're still young. I may be slightly over the 30 mark now, but we're still young and we've still got lots of time in our life to decide. And I think when we choose that we want to slow down our lifestyle a bit, that's when we can start thinking about it. But obviously first, we need to find a home that we're happy to be settled in. We need to want to be more in one place. And at the moment, that's just not what we want, is it? We get itchy feet.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good lifestyle for the child, and having a child is stressful itself. We don't want to make our lives even more stressful, you know, by having a child and putting them in this situation. Also, it's not 100% yes, it's not 100% no. Everything is up in the air.
Yeah.
So yeah. Many people are asking us about one specific person. Where is she? Well, I think she's currently in the kitchen.
Это что?
Все спрашивают, куда ты делась? Где ты? Лера, где ты?
Я ела.
Я ела. Ты все это время ела.
По мне не видно.
Дурочка. Скажи,
Привет.
Привет, мои фанаты. Basically, there was a period of time when she needed some support, and now she's getting on with her life, and we're getting on with ours. But she's currently living with our mom in Sochi. The last question is...
It's a deep one. It's a very, very deep one.
not about the meaning of life this time, thankfully, but you know, on the
meaning
path.
of our life, almost.
Basically, there's a question: are we happy? Are you happy, Matthew?
Well, Julia, I'm very happy. Like, from my personal perspective, and I know we feel the same on this. This has been amazing so far, what we're doing, and getting to share the world and places that we see for our eyes and do it together more than anything. I think when we started this, you know, we had separate lives almost in the UK, right? You were working all the time in London, we've mentioned before, as an engineer, working shifts, and we've done this so that we can build something together and we can spend time together, and that's one thing we'll never regret. I think it's been incredible thus far, and it's really exciting just every day when we sit together, you know, we plan these different projects that we've got together, the different travels, places we want to go, things we want to share, people we want to share.
Things that actually mean something.
Yeah, that means something, you know, and it was a passion and it still is a passion, and the fact that we get to share this passion together is amazing. And you, Julia?
I'm miserable. I'm absolutely miserable. In all honesty, I don't know. I think I am. Like most people, I'm striving not for happiness as such, but to feel content and at peace. The last year has been really difficult, and it wasn't much about leaving, it was more about surviving really. I had enough, so what I'm trying to do now is try to live and enjoy life. I'm learning, and I guess I'm trying to get there, which for a long time I wasn't able to or didn't want to. Yeah.
I think if the question is skewed, if you're asking are we happy for what we're doing, yes, we are, and this has given us not just the opportunity to be able to travel and to share places that we really, really love, and do it together and spend time together. It's also given us an opportunity to be in control of our own time. Just kind of related to what you were saying, before we would come to Russia to see family twice a year for a couple of weeks at a time, you know, again timing it around holidays, and we were very fortunate to do that, and also to be able to squeeze in a bit of travels in Europe. But doing this has given us the opportunity to stay in Russia and other places, but specifically see more of family here and spend quality time that we would never have done without the opportunity of being able to do YouTube videos. So doing YouTube, we've learned a lot, we've done a lot, we've got a lot in the future, and we're doing it together.
Yeah.
And it's given us the freedom to be able to enjoy,
To learn a lot. Also, I wanted to mention it quickly. Look, I see so much bullshit online, it's crazy. People often make up that this lifestyle is not what it actually is. There are bumps and difficulties along the road, and it's certainly not for everyone. However, it is amazing. It's just not as glamorous, and we're not rich, unfortunately. We're trying, learning, failing, getting up and getting going, because our main priority, as I mentioned previously, has always been travel. It's just been a lot about reshaping how we want to travel, why we want to travel, and mainly why we want to film it. Because we can do many things, you know, and still keep traveling. We don't have to do YouTube. We choose to do it. It's not easy, but we love it. I'm really sorry for crying. I didn't plan on this to happen. Hope you enjoy watching this video, and see you in the next one.